Welcome back to the shop. So I'm back from my vacation up there at Tifton, and I had a great time up there and really enjoyed myself, and I learned a lot of new things, and I'm happy to bring those home and continue my training and my practice, and to go right along with what I do around here in the shop. So hope everybody enjoyed last week's SNS. I really haven't even had an opportunity to get on there yet and reply to everybody's comments. I've gone through it a few times, but I tell you what, I stayed busy. Even though it was a vacation, it wasn't really a vacation where I'm just kind of sitting around on a beach drinking something and looking at my phone. I was busy working and hanging out with all the guys the entire time I was there. And man, whenever we got back to the hotel room after a long, 9-10 hour work day, we all would go to dinner, and then we'd go home or go back to the hotel room and crash, man. And that's what I did. I did post a few things out there on Instagram, just a quick way to get a couple pictures out there to share what's going on, and I enjoy doing that, and put a few up on Facebook there too. But overall, the trip was great, and again, I learned a lot of new tricks and techniques out there, and most importantly, I learned how to hand scrape. Now, I'm not an expert scraper by no means. I'm a beginner scraper, should I say. It's going to take a lot of practice to get good at it and get efficient with it. I kind of struggled with it, to tell you the truth. In the very beginning, I struggled with it, trying to get the technique down, really understanding what I was doing. But the more that I did it, the more I started understanding it. And it was very helpful, not just having Richard there too, but the other guys around me, watching what they're doing, and seeing other guys how they're getting it done, and eventually it started kind of getting to me. And here's a hand scraper. This is one that Keith made, that I bought from him, and you really gotta practice the technique and get into a rhythm and how to use your body to make this thing move and create your cuts. So it took me a little while to get down there. Most all the other guys moved on to their projects, and I was still trying to cut something in flat on our test pieces. But I think I know what I need to do now. I just got to practice it and start getting a little better at the techniques there. I really enjoyed the power scraping. I think that goes for everybody there. It's Richard says it's like going from a bicycle to riding a high-speed motorcycle. That's what power scraper is. I got a catalog right here from DAPRA there's a power scraper, and this catalog has got all of the scraper parts, everything you need basically. Got a nice book from Richard that explains everything. This is part of the class. Whenever you take one, you get a book and you get a DVD. And as far as tools though, you got to acquire those on your own. Richard did give us all a small bottle of the Canode, the dye spotting ink. You got a blue and a yellow. He also had a red that we used as well. So that's pretty cool. That'll help me get started. But I have a lot of tools that I need to start acquiring in order to practice around here. I don't even have a scraper blade yet, a scraper tip. This is just a handle. So I got to start acquiring the scraper blades, the tips, the carbide tips, and hopefully maybe try to find a used Biax power scraper here, maybe out on eBay or something, and a power flaker would be good, because I am looking forward to continuing this stuff and hopefully get a little better at it. I got the surface plate right there that I worked on, and you're going to see some video of that coming. I'm going to have several shorter videos that I'm going to make on pretty much each day of the trip out there. And I got to work on that a little bit, and you'll get to see that. It's not finished. I still got a lot of work to do, so that's going to be a nice long-term project that I can continue on as I acquire the tools that I need. This was the small project that I started on right here, and it's not even finished either, but I did get one side kind of flat. It's not as flat as I want it to be, because there was just so much other stuff going on and a lot of training in other fields. So we by the time I was working on this, we moved on to some other training, and I really didn't get a chance to get back on it. But what I had found out was, and this is something that I learned in class, is that I didn't really do a good job of checking this before I even started on it, you just assume that an angle plate is nice and square. But this is an old angle plate. It's been used a lot. And this angle plate actually drops off right here behind the slot. Going this way, it kind of ramps down. I didn't think to check that. And he actually showed us, you know, how to check that stuff before you even start. And I kind of forgot to do that. But this side right here ended up being way too far out to try to sit there and try to scrape it in. So this side's going to have to be machined before I even try to scrape this one in. This side's pretty flat. I just got to get it flat, and then making this surface 90 degrees from this and flat. So this will be a, you know, continuing project right there. And I got video on some of this stuff right here. So just be on the lookout. What I was going to say for this week's SNS content, I don't have any machining for you this week. So if you guys are here to look for machining, I'm sorry, I don't have any content for you this week. So this SNS, I've got a couple of viewer gifts right here that's come in. I like to show those. And I did some video driving over to Tifton, and I wanted an opportunity to try to speak my mind a little bit and just talk about a couple things that I had been thinking about. And so I share my thoughts with you, kind of let you know what's been on my mind. And I also did a question and answer. So I posted a video on Facebook and said, you know, if you got a question, I'll answer them while I'm driving down the road there. So that's what I did. I think that's what I'd like to put in this SNS right here is the driving videos and the question and answer. And I'm going to start working on some more machining and some projects around here. And hopefully next week I will bring you some more metal cutting and working on some parts. I've got a couple things down here I need to get started on. And again, I'm going to start working on the other videos there as well for the scraping class, and we might condense them and make it into 2 or 3 videos. So I hope you enjoy. So that's it. I just want to say that I had a great time, and I really enjoyed meeting Richard and learning from him and hanging out with all of the guys there at the scraping class. You all know who you are. I really enjoyed my time hanging out with you. So we'll go ahead and get to the rest of our content and get to our viewer mail and our road trip video. So this is our first viewer mail of the week right here. This is something that was sent in by Frank Reed out of Eden, North Carolina. And I had posted a picture of this stuff on Facebook and said I needed to have this. This is a tool, an accessory for a micrometer and thread wires that I didn't know that was made. And Frank had messaged me and said that he was buying one and he wanted to buy one for me and send it along. So unfortunately I don't have my thread wires here. They're at work, and I didn't think to bring them in for this right here. But if you know what thread wires are, you know that you have 3 wires that you have to hold onto a thread and use a mic over the wires to measure your thread pitch diameter. So I got the doors open, by the way, so you're going to hear the sirens. I'm sorry. These little pieces right here, they're color coded to match the diameter of the wire that you use it. But what it does is they have a little slot in the end of them, and what you can do is you slide 2 of the wires through the slot all the way through there, and then you take and you stick these on the anvil of your micrometer. All right, so then that holds 2 of the wires on the bottom. So then you can slip this over your part when you're going to measure, and you can slide the upper wire with your hand, and then use your right hand there, you know, whichever, right, left, and be able to hold all the wires easily and measure. Now I have not used them yet to see how well this is actually going to work, but I feel like they're going to work better than not having any kind of holder at all. There is other tricks of the trade out there that guys use. I've actually used a piece of foam before, but it doesn't work really that good. So I'm hoping these will work a little bit better. So that's what these are. They're made by this company right here, Flex Bar. Says they're made in USA. Yeah, right there, made in USA. And I don't remember what they cost. It was like 15 or 20 bucks for this little kit right here. So Frank, thank you very much. I do want to show these later on in another video whenever I get my thread wires here, and we'll do some measuring on some threads and see how well these little guys work right here. So thank you very much, Frank. So this is our next viewer gift right here that's come in, and I've shown this before. This is Engineer's Black Book, the USA edition. And whenever I was showing this in a previous episode there, I was talking about carbide inserts. It comes with this nice little gauge right here in the end, drill point gauge. But I had shown in a previous episode in Shop Talk using it to identify carbide tool holders and carbide inserts. All right, and so Arlen Taylor, he is from Riverton, Utah. He's the one that sent this to me. He purchased this, and I believe in his email he said that he didn't realize he had purchased the USA edition. He actually wanted the metric edition. So he had emailed and said that he wanted to send this to me so I'd have another one since I really liked having this book around. It is very useful. There's a lot of cool info in that book. So I'm going to take this one to work and put it in my toolbox there, and because I actually don't have one there at work. So thank you, Arlen. That's going to be useful, and I do recommend this book for anybody that don't have one. This is a really nice book with a lot of good info, and it'll help you out quite a bit. Thanks, Arlen. Hey guys, well, welcome back to the channel. Today we're not in the shop, we're back out on the road, and I'm on my way up to Tifton, Georgia to attend the Richard King scraping class. Very excited about this. I'm finally on vacation time. As I said before, I had saved a week's vacation last year and carried over to this year, and to save for this scraping class, and I think it's going to be great. Going to learn a brand new skill, something that I've always been curious about, never really knew much about except for just seeing machines that have been scraped and hearing about it and hearing people talk about it. So I'm very, very excited to learn this. Even though this is going to be a basic introduction to scraping, I'm looking forward to learning it and getting out there and practicing it. Maybe in the future I'll be able to take another class with Richard. Who knows? It could be very possible. But anyways, we're on the road. I'm on Interstate I-10 headed east. I'm just out of Milton, Florida now, headed to Tallahassee. And once I get to Tallahassee, I'm going to make a stop there and hopefully get to stop and visit with my cousin Alex of Alex's Garage. I don't know if I'm going to get to meet with him, just depending on the time. I was trying to get there on his lunch break to where me and him could have some lunch together, and then I could leave, and from there I have to head north up through Thomasville, Alabama, and then a little bit northeast over to Tifton, Georgia. So no real time frame other than making sure that I'm at Keith's shop later on this afternoon to drop off some stuff, and then our class will actually begin tomorrow, Friday morning at 8 o'clock. And it's a 5-day class. It's going to go Friday through the following Tuesday. And then after the class, I'll pack up and head back into town. But yeah, I'm looking really forward to it. Not only just the scraping, but I get to see Keith's brand new shop for the first time, so that's pretty cool. And I get to hang out with some new guys that I haven't met before. And I also get to hang out with some of the other YouTube guys, the other creators. John Saunders of NYCCNC, he's going to be there. James Kilroy, you probably all know James Kilroy, he's going to be there. And Tom, I don't know how to say Tom's last name properly. I'm going to have to ask him about that. But Tom Utley, something like that. Anyway, he'll be there. And I think he's trying to learn how to scrape as well. I know he's been restoring a South Bend lathe. So anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting all them guys and hanging out. It's just going to be a pretty good time. We're going to have us a little shrimp boil one evening. I don't know what evening that's going to be, but we're going to do it one day and probably have a little cookout. I've got this camera, and I'm trying a new spot in the car, by the way. Maybe you can hear me a little bit better, because those cameras always pick up the resonance from the engine kind of echoed around in the cab. But I also have my handheld over here in the seat, and that's just so I can grab a shot whenever the time arises that I might be able to. as part of being a filmmaker, that's something that I consider myself now, as not only a machinist and a metal worker, I consider myself a filmmaker now too. That's a term that I kind of enjoy, is filmmaking, and I like sharing my adventures with you guys on this channel. It's really come a long way. Whenever I first started doing videos, you know, there's a 55 Chevy Bel Air on the trailer. That's pretty cool. When I first started doing videos, it was just about machine shop, just doing some projects, and it's really evolved and come a long way, and it's been fun. This adventure has been fun, meeting so many people, and so many people interested in what I do every day, not just in the shop. You know, I show you guys things outside of the shop, such as barbecuing and grilling, stuff with my family, occasionally road trips, and I get such a good feedback from those videos that it drives me to continue doing that and keep making more and more. And I really would like to make more videos like that outside of the shop. So as long as I have an audience there that appreciate the time that I spend filming stuff and sharing things with you, I'm going to continue to create them. You know, if I spend a bunch of time and effort making videos and I got no views and, you know, nothing but thumbs down, then I know that I'm doing something wrong and I wouldn't do it. But they're not, those kind of videos aren't quite as popular as my machining videos, but I still get 20 or 30,000 views after a while for say a road trip video, share my experiences with you. So I do enjoy that, and I'd like to continue to do that, and so we'll see how it goes. I'll try to get some cool stuff along this trip here and share on the channel, and hopefully in the future. I've been wanting to take some more video on my other trips, maybe even stuff around my city. We have a lot of interesting places around there to see and visit. Some stuff that I never even go and visit myself, and I'm a resident there, so I need to get the camera out and do some exploring and sharing that stuff with you on my channel. So, by the way, if you made it this far into the video, this section right here, I wanted to try to make a segment where I'm just kind of not clearing the air. I just want to talk. I want to share my thoughts with you. So if this is something that you're not interested in, then just fast forward or move on to another video or something. But I've had a lot of things on my mind for a pretty good while that I've been wanting to get out there on video and talk about, and I'm sure that I'm not right here. I'm not going to remember half of what I've wanted to say. It just depends on the day. So, different things come up. Something might happen. Somebody might make a comment, and then it gets my mind moving and thinking about things. But I just want to talk to you. I want to share my thoughts. So, where's a good place to start here? My work, my experience, me being a machinist. One of the things that I've tried to make sure that I let you know, and I mentioned this in several videos, is that I only know what I know, and what I show you on video, rarely do I ever consider it the proper way to do something or the only way to do something, because what I'm showing you is just what I know. Okay, it's how I know how to do something, and sometimes it may be a very good way to do something, but that's not necessarily the best way to do it. I'm showing you one direction to take, and that's the direction that I'm taking, but there's always other directions to take to do a job. And I don't get them a lot, but I do get some people that'll comment on, why not, can't you just? Or I'll have other people say, A-Bomb's wrong, he's doing it wrong, you should do it this way. But I really try to ignore the negativity as much as I can, and I've really grown to have a little thicker skin over the years. But I try to stay positive and keep the conversation moving and be polite with everybody and share my thoughts as well as theirs. But yeah, whenever I'm doing some work, I'm just doing it the way that I'm thinking in my mind to get the job done, okay? And I actually learn things from other people, even comments. There will be people that leave a comment on some of the things that I do, some of the jobs that I might do, and they'll say something like, hey, you could have done it like this, and then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you know what, they're right, that would have been a little bit better. And then sometimes I take those tips and those comments and I apply them later on in a job, and it works out great. That's been going on for like 3 years now, since this YouTube thing. And not only that, I still learn from other guys as well. I learn from guys like Keith Finner and Tom Lipton. I learn from everybody, really I do. But those guys right there are a couple of my YouTube mentors, and I'm proud to call them my friends. And I enjoy learning more as I go. But what else I wanted to say about that is, as far as how I do things, is that, and I get this question a lot, how did you learn how to do this? I've never been to school for machining, guys. I've only learned what I know by working in the shop. I started working with my dad when I was 17 years old. Before that, I was in and out of the shop during the summer just helping him clean. Honestly, I didn't pay attention to it before that. I really didn't have a big interest in what he did. I was into motorcycles and dirt bikes and being a teenager. But whenever I was 17 and I started working with Dad full time, it almost immediately I really immediately started enjoying metalworking and the machine shop life. I really did. And I think it just kind of came naturally to me, and I really understood things whenever they would explain, like drill bits and tool bits and turning and milling and stuff like that. And as I said before, I'm not the best out there, but I do things how I know, and I've learned everything that you see me do in the shop. Not in books. I have learned some books by reading, but not going to school or college for it. So on-job training, which is an excellent way to learn, I recommend that to anybody that is interested in this field. If you can try to get your foot in the door in a shop, and even as the bottom end, sweeping floors and cleaning out chip pans. That's how I started. That's how a lot of guys started. And it's a good way to build yourself up throughout the ranks and become a machinist. Get in there, and as you're cleaning the shop, you're seeing all this stuff around you. You're seeing this machinery, and you're seeing jobs, and you're seeing metal cut, you're seeing tools, and you're learning about all that stuff as you're working, and then you ask questions, and you watch people, and you take it in, and you listen. So I get a lot of questions about how to start off, and that's just one of the ways that you can start off in a shop. Try to get an entry-level position cleaning, and try to find a mentor in there to ask questions and listen to, and get your start that way. But that's how I learned the trade, is working with my dad, and then my dad taught me, my granddad taught me, Sonny taught me. He was a guy that worked with us as well. He was a top-notch machinist, and he's still a friend of mine, and I learned from them, and I learned from, there was a couple other guys that was in the shop every now and then as well. Don, he was a friend of my dad's, and he was a retired machinist, and he would come in and visit us once a week, and every time he was there, he would always talk to me and give me little bits of information and tips on being a manual machinist, because that's what he was. So I learned a little bit from a lot of different people. And now that now that none of those people are in my life anymore, it's I learned through YouTube now, and continuing on-job training. Like, you know, the company that I work with now, I'm continuing to learn not just machining, but other things, you know, hydraulic, fluid power, and gearbox assemblies, mechanical, that type of stuff. And that's why I'm doing a scraping class, because I like to learn, and I like to learn new skills. So this is gonna add to what I know. So I know that was a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, but I want to reiterate that one of the points I was trying to make there is that I don't consider myself an expert, and I hear a lot of people say things like that, say the word master, but I'm not anything like that. I don't think. But again, I only know what I know, and I know how to do things a certain way, and that's what I show you on film whenever I video a job. So if there is a better way to do that, I'm always learning and taking it in the best that I can. So I just enjoy showing the work. You know, it's all about the work, and I like seeing metal cut. I like taking big heavy cuts on the Monarch and the Pacemaker, and I like to see cool things being built and being machined. And that's one of the things I love about my job. I love being a manual machinist. I know the world is full of computerized machinery now, and I wish that I knew that already, but I enjoy what I know now, being a manual machinist. And I'm very proud of the trade that I'm in. So I think that was a lot of what I wanted to talk about right there, really. I'll have to think about what else I was wanting to mention. I told you I would forget about half of it, but I got a long ride ahead of me, so I might turn the camera back on. You've probably seen it in video behind. It's very foggy today. Weather is not the best, but hopefully it'll burn off here pretty soon. It's still early. It's about 8:30. So I'll bring some more thoughts to you in a little bit.